I am an artist living in beautiful Vermont, USA, and I have a lot of questions. So I engage the minds of the people that I meet, poets, writers, artists. I explore what's inside and share it with you. My name is Ricky McEwan, and I am eager to know. Brent McEwan is a Los Angeles-based actor. His latest film project has him both acting and in a production development role. This future film is called Flaming Match. Great name, by the way. And the team is actively fundraising as they work towards production. I should let everyone know, full disclosure, Brent is also my former downstairs neighbor from summer of 2010 in Provincetown, Massachusetts, which we are absolutely not going to speak about, but he does have the inside information on me. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you, to hear you.
So this movie, I'm going to take a stab at describing the plot as I know it. So you have some characters that are middle-aged, so to speak, and have a series of projects that just never went as well as they would think. So they have a history of trying things and not getting the results that they want. And they find themselves at a point in their lives where they're wondering, is anything ever going to work? And then they realize that one of their past projects that they started on that they didn't think worked may actually have worked. And it was a dating site, like a dating app type thing. And they realized that maybe some of the people that were using the app may have been in successful relationships, and this could be their actual they're finally they have a project that is successful. Is that a general good idea?
That
Description?
is a good general description. Absolutely. I will correct one thing.
Okay.
When we shot this original footage that's going to be part of this new project as well, this predated apps. So we're taking raw footage from like 2007 and incorporating it into today's world. So the dating site that you were referring to was really a website back in the day, not even apps.
Gotcha. So you're getting into something about the actual creative process, which we'll talk about further, but that's a good thing to indicate is
Okay.
your character's original idea was a dating site. And one of the things that the characters did is they had people that were submitting content or wanted to be on the site create videos describing themselves. And now
That's correct.
we're 2024. They're kind of following up with these people that wanted to be on the dating site to find out where they are. So this sounds like a really interesting story. And a good story is always founded on universal ideas. And that can apply to to everyone or a broad range of people. And the ideas that, as I see it, are the prospect of not becoming the person that someone hoped they would be in life. I think that's something that many people can relate to. How success can be revealed in unexpected ways, the way that you think that success is defined, that sometimes you realize that success can be in another form that you didn't expect or didn't see. And also love can take many forms. Does that kind of cover it?
That is a perfectly encapsulated nutshell. Yes, absolutely.
And so you all have created this, what seems like a very interesting story. Now, just so we're clear on where we are, can you describe where the project is and like what is next for the project? Because the film is not made.
Correct. Absolutely. So we did shoot footage, gosh, back in about 2007 for a project that was entirely a different beast altogether. But that footage has been just sitting on a shelf somewhere. And about 2 years ago, my friend Alan Natali and I circled back on this, and we just started crafting. That iteration was more of an improvised filming, so there weren't really there wasn't really a script. We were just letting people free flow on what they wanted, how they wanted to define their dating characters. And what we have done since is we have landed on a strong narrative. We basically reapproached the footage we had and we thought, okay, well, where are these people now? And two of the people that weren't the daters themselves, but were my character, Chip, and Alan's character, Mick, they were the ones who owned the business, or it was their enterprise. And it begged the question for all, where are they now? So we started writing that script. And where are they now is where I am now, where Alan is now, where a lot of us are now, which is middle aged. So we had 15 years basically to fill in the gaps for these characters and then write a narrative that made sense, that we feel really would springboard off of where they were and where they could possibly be today. So that's where we are in the process. The script is complete. We did start some fundraising, some initial fundraising. And at this moment in time, we're actually meeting with a director of photography on Sunday to see if we can lock down this person, because once we get that locked down, we can start filling in all the other logistics that are surrounded for making the film. Locations, cast, crew, all of that.
Now, I don't have any, you live in Los Angeles, you've lived there for a very long time and are very familiar with like the filmmaking process. I'm not familiar with it at all. So you have a script, and what would the next, now I'm becoming like a project manager. So what would the next step be with getting did you say an art director?
No, director of photography. So basically the guy who's going to shoot it.
Okay. Now, is that normally the next step? Like once you have a script, you have the director of photography, because that would actually inform the sets and the actual equipment that you would need?
Well, it's an excellent question. And as you know, I have put on an additional hat or two in this production. So to answer your question from my point of view, yes. Is this how everyone does it? I have no idea. But essentially what we need to do is we need to make sure we have a crew. We have somebody who can come in. The director of photography, the reason we're hitting that one first is this person is going to be shooting and capturing the film in the way that we hope to see it captured. And Alan, my writing partner with this, and also who is in the production, he is also going to be directing this. So he really needs to be jiving with that person too. He needs to make sure that whomever we bring on board is able to articulate in a visual medium the project the way we see it. So it's important to get a cast. I'm sorry, not the cast. It's important to get the crew determined before we start locking down our locations and our timelines and our schedules for actors.
Are you currently funded, or are you looking for funding?
Both. Well, let's say I shouldn't jump on the both. We still would like to raise a lot more money for this project. It is so this is a passion project. It also falls under the category of micro budget, which means we're trying to shoot this essentially for under $20,000.
Okay.
And we have raised a little bit of money, but we're nowhere near we're near fulfilling that capacity. So we are continuing to raise funds for the film throughout the production process.
And how do you raise funds? How does that work?
So one of the ways, the first way we tackled it is we created an Indiegogo campaign, a GoFundMe type campaign, which was wonderful. It was great to be able to share with people through that campaign what the story's about, who's involved, what the process, some of the questions you're asking me. Going forward, we may reignite a campaign like that. But what we've created in the interim is we have a website. It's flamingmatch.info. And we also have just started an Instagram page, which is flamingmatch_the film. And in both areas, you can find our Venmo link. So you can actually just, hey, if you're looking at our project and you go, wow, this seems really interesting. And yeah, I know Brent, I know Alan, I know whomever else is involved in the project, or you have friends that you know are really big supporters of the arts. they can go to these two sites and they can just Venmo us cash. I mean, super simple. We just try to keep it super simple and smooth.
Perfect. And I will put links to both the Instagram and the website in the show description for people to check out. So let's switch back to creative gears. So you had to get from this footage that you had captured in 2007 and create a narrative to bring, to current day. Was that creative process, that script writing, was that informed by personal experience? Like, tell me about where that came from.
Yeah, so it's twofold a little bit. It's personal experience, obviously, with the characters that we had created even this many years ago. For most of us actors, we can easily tap right back into who was that person that I played, what they were there about, and sit right back in their space, at least for the time we may have shot that originally. Um, then you are sitting current day and going, okay, well, here I am, Brent or Alan, and we're at this point in our life, and we've collectively had these experiences go on or happen, or we've watched other friends' lives have tremendous ups or tremendous downs, and then we pivot back to the characters and we go, okay, well, so what possibly could be the journey for those people? And what helps with already knowing where they were at is we were already talking about somewhat, I don't want to say dysfunctional people, but certainly people that have challenges, who may be their own challenge. They may be their biggest obstacle. The daters that we're referencing in this project are all, for lack of a better word, a little quirky. So
Which is how they were cast in that was what you initially wanted.
totally, and look, to all the actors' credits, who are actually coming back and reshooting their footage 15 years later. I mean, shooting new footage to marry with the old footage. They just had fun with this. We said, look, just come in with whatever kind of personality or character you want to express as looking for love, and they nailed so many different interesting personas.
So based on that footage from 2024, you created a script from that because obviously
Well,
the
I'm sorry. That point in time was when we originally shot footage.
that
This
was
is back in 2007.
okay. So the new stuff, have
Yeah,
you, I know I saw a little bit of a clip of some current stuff. You had, this actor had done 2007 and then the
yes,
character back in 2024. Was that the only 2024 character that you brought back? And then everything else is just in a script.
correct. That's correct. So, gosh, this is so good, Rick. I love talking about this. So what you saw is something that we developed as a proof of concept, and we plugged that in. Essentially, there were two reasons we created that. One, to share with potential DPs, director of photography, and also to embed in our fundraising campaign, so that people are visual, right? You can write a really lovely description and you hope they're reading all your beautiful words that just make this sound so poetic and lovely and fascinating, but people often just need a visual. So we decided to do a proof of concept, and that is about what, I can't remember how many minutes it turned out, but it's one of the scenes. It essentially gives you an idea of the road trip journey the two characters, Chip and Mick, will be on to go revisit these initial daters and then to find out if they're still together. And in that proof of concept, which you can see on the website and you can see on our Instagram page and that you've seen, yes, we kind of, what we'll do is we kind of click on our iPad and we go, hey, remember Renee from 2007? And we get to see snippets of what Renee had to say as what she was looking for love in this film dating segment. And then we bleed right into current day. And now Alan and I, or Chip and Mick, are seated in front of this person trying to find out, so how did it go? Are you still in love? Are you still a match? Did we do something successful? And that's the journey we're on, and that's what you're going to find out. Were they successful? Were they not?
All right. So Brent, do you think I should? I'm afraid that people listening to this might be a little confused, and I'm wondering if I should just kind of do an overview of the landscape of this project one more time. Um, what do you think? With like the original
Well,
footage, with the script, with the proof of concept. I'm afraid that I think we both understand it, but I'm
mhm.
wondering if I should just kind of give an overview of let me
Sure, you did. I mean, you did a great job on the previous overview.
and I can edit it out. Well, what I had done before was I described the script.
Hmm.
Because we're kind of going back and forth between production and the story, I think it might be a little confusing. So
Sure,
let me
sure.
describe this for everyone, just so that everyone uh, yeah, understands. So in 2007, Brent was involved in a project where they created, they pulled together actors to create content for a fake dating website. And so they encouraged all of these actors to just have fun and just be quirky. And you're submitting all of your, what you want in a mate, et cetera, et cetera. But this project had no vision. It was just that you just did it for the heck of it in 2007. Fast forward 2004, you're actually taking that footage and you're turning it into this story called Flaming Match. And how you're using it is you're actually pulling all of those actors who did all that content in 2007 and you're bringing them back in current day for them to give an update. And what the story of Flaming Match is, it's it's how you are looking at the old footage and now looking at these actors who are in character now with an update. So that's the story. I hope I didn't.
You did very well. I would just add that the reason now the narrative, the urgency, the reason, the conflict, everything that goes into a real script is that Chip, my character, desperately needs to feel validated in his life. He needs to feel like he achieved some level of success. And so the revisiting this old footage, you'll have to watch the film when it's made. But there is a reason he goes back to thinking this one business enterprise was possibly the one level of success, however minuscule it may have been, was his one level of success. So yes, very good job.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so happy for you. This sounds so fun and in so many aspects. Like the story is great, but from a creative aspect, like this journey of reusing old footage into something new is incredible. Like that's so inspiring. I mean, as an artist, as a painter, I mean, I have stuff all over the place that I started and I didn't know what I was going to do with. And you're inspiring me that maybe I'm going to take some of these unfinished paintings and turn them into something meaningful.
Totally. And look, this was Alan. Alan came to me. So Alan had the footage. Alan had the original idea of shooting these daters and back in 2007. And he came to me about 2 years ago, 2022, with the idea of wanting to utilize it somehow. And my mind immediately went to, you don't see a lot of usage of this, but there was a movie called Boyhood. I can't even remember how many years ago. Patricia Arquette's in it. And they had shot sequentially over years and allowed characters to actually grow up. So they had footage from way back when, and then they would periodically pick up the movie again. That's the closest thing I can kind of liken this to. But yes, I think it's going to be a very interesting hook for the film to go, oh my gosh, you get to see this person from 15 years ago, and you get to see how the actor um, brings life to that character in current day, and many similarities, right? You want there to be many similarities, but it's a wonderful idea. And then we were able to envelop that idea in this wonderful script that, as you pointed out at the beginning, really speaks to universal themes.
Nice. Now tell me about you stepping out of the acting role, because I'm assuming that your role in movies has always been as an actor. Have you ever had other roles, like as producer or writer or anything like that?
Nope. I have worked in production at times with a friend of mine who did production design and set dressing. And so I've certainly worked in other avenues for fun or for a little bit of money. But in terms of my approach for things that I acted in, it was always just singular as an actor.
And was that something that you had a desire to try something new, or were you just like, we got to get it done. Someone's got to do it type thing?
A little bit of both, but mostly the latter. Look, I was always happy staying in my lane. Like I really wanted to, when I moved to LA, I really wanted to dive into learning the craft of acting. I really wanted to be an actor. I didn't want to be an actor, writer, dancer, singer, director. I had no idea I had no desire rather to make myself all those things. But as you get older, and as I've just seen how things get made living here in Los Angeles on any level, you have to be willing to get in and roll your sleeves up and make it happen. And when Alan approached me regarding this, I was open to it right away. And as we started shaping the story, I was like, oh, we got to be in it to win it. We need to do something with this now. It wasn't just a writing exercise. We have to now make this because it's that good. And as we started sharing it with other people, directors, actors, other writer friends, they kept coming back to us going, wow, that's a really good script. It's a short film. It'll be about 20 minutes long, but it's got a really tight rhythm and it's got a very good beginning, middle, and end.
Awesome. Now, do you think that you're going to stay outside of the acting role and continue to do work? I mean, was that um, a fulfilling experience being part of creating something as opposed to acting? I mean, acting is creating too, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, well, look, I'll be very clear. We're at a very rudimentary level. We do have the script done, but we still have a lot of components to bring together to make it happen. Locking down this DP right now is number one because it's finding that one anchor where then you start building everything around. So we have a lot of logistics to figure out. It's project managing. You just said I feel like a project manager or something a moment ago, and I'm like, yes, this is project managing. So I haven't succeeded at it yet, is what I'm saying. Ask me that at the end of the shoot, and I'll let you know.
All right. Cool. So one of the things that you and I talked about when we did our pre-interview, I had a question about creativity as an actor. I mean, I've never done acting, but to me, there's one way that I see acting is someone is giving you a script and you are acting it out. Like, where is the creative component to acting? How could you describe that for me?
Well, it's so funny. I feel like I'm going to answer this question, and it may not be what every acting coach how they want me to answer it, but I'm also thinking about it in terms of our overall discussion too. Um, I think you bring in a lot of you need to find the personal connection with whatever's going on in the story, right? And for this particular script, that was very easy to do because we had all created these characters, and so running with and fleshing that out, there was a lot of us put into these characters. But I think that is really true on the whole. You have to look. We all have experiences with anger? Yes. Empathy? I hope so. Um, Sadness, um, joy. All kind of the emotional content of what human beings experience, we have a relationship to. And so when acting in a project, you read through the script and you start then breaking it down kind of line by line or scene by scene, line by line, and you just start finding the experience. And if it's something, let's say you're playing a murderer, um, I'll just throw that out there as some arbitrary example, and you haven't murdered anyone yet, um, uh, then you try to anchor in on whatever is in the psyche there, whatever is going on, what you feel is going on for that character that could drive them to that point.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Does make sense. Would you say that you are feeling those emotions when you're acting, or are you acting like you're feeling those emotions?
Oh, that's a very good question, Rick. You're very good at this. Um, you are not, you're not, gosh, I should have a little water with me right now. You're not acting the emotions, you just understand the emotions. And it really, when you kind of break down text and really start feeling and understanding where the character is in that moment in time, and then you have to articulate that through the words that are the words in the script, by sitting in that space, by really feeling that, and owning that experience, then when you come up and the words come out of your mouth, they're coming from a place deep within. So it's an interesting question. It sounds very simplistic, right? The way you phrased it. You're not laying for the emotion, but you are living the emotion.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, great. Is there anything else that you think? So we covered everything on our list that we were going to talk about. Is there anything else that you think people should know about this project, about you?
Wow, gosh, it all moves so fast. You know, it's yes, there is. I will tell you what, and this goes, I guess, back to your last question, kind of. Um, the thing that I've always wanted to experience, even if I were just coming as an actor and not as the writer or the producer or any other hat that I'd be wearing, but even coming into the fold as an actor, what I always wanted to experience, which is not always the case when you just arrive on set to do your job, is collaboration. And by that, I mean, there have been times where I've been cast in things and I literally show up and when they're ready for me, they just call me to my mark. If we get to run it once or twice, great. Otherwise, it's just jumping in and going. And then you're done and you leave. Bye. Nice. Thanks for coming. And then they're moving on. The whole production is moving on with what they're doing next. That had always felt very empty to me as a person,
Yeah.
as an actor. It was something I wasn't aware of coming into it, and then was really a little crestfallen about it, going, "Wow, this is the experience I wanted," because it's not at all the experience I wanted. And that's why it's funny. People will say, like, people will be in acting classes for years, and you know why? Because we get more of the totality of collaboration and the experience of fleshing out characters in our classes than most of us ever do on set. And I would say that's coming from a place of many of us coming in doing guest star roles or just popping in and popping out. Now, someone who has a series going and is developing a character over the course of a couple of years, that's likely a far different experience. So for this project, what I've really enjoyed is collaboration. We sat down, we brainstormed on the ideas of where this could possibly go. Then we started putting words to paper. Then we'd reread them and go, I don't know if that sounds right. Then we flushed this all out to a degree that, okay, I think this actually works. Then we brought in our actor friends and we said, hey guys, can you sit down with us and read the script so we can hear it? Because it's just like, I sing really well in my head all by myself, but when you spew it out of my mouth, sometimes it's not so pretty. You need to hear it from somebody else. So we did that a couple times. We probably workshopped this script about 3 different times. And each time we would either hear something that fell flat, or the story just wasn't as strong as it was in other parts, or the actors themselves would go, I'm not sure this makes sense, or why isn't this happening? And it may have been something we didn't think of at all. And then you go, oh, hold on, I see what you're saying. And so we dissect it a little bit further. So collaboration is what has been the most joyful part of this so far. And even to the point of pivoting, so taking on this producer role, this is unknown territory. Not that it's so foreign that I can't figure it out. It really is project managing. But you know, you're dealing with people's time, energy, and a little bit of money. And so I reached out immediately to my friend Kara, who worked with me on a web series that I did. That was one of the first things she was producing that time. And since then, she's done many independent projects. She's also an actress herself. Um, I reached out to her, and we went and had coffee, and we just started chatting, and boom, now this project took a whole new leg. It was like, okay, so I just connected with the right person that is going to help further this project along, by her experience and talent, and then me working alongside her. So that's been a oh, I almost used the word, that's been a blessing. I just don't like when people use that word. That's been a gift in many ways. Like, I really like that's been fulfilling. So
Wonderful. Well, Brent, I am so happy for you. This sounds like obviously an interesting project, but also it sounds like this is an opportunity for you to like grow and as a creative individual, you know, beyond acting in what you just described, everything that you just described, that whole process of flushing it out with actors, that sounds so interesting. Like I want to be part of that. Like that sounds so interesting. And I'm very envious and happy for you for this project. And I can't wait to see this 20-minute film when it is complete.
well, Rick, it's super sweet of you, first of all, to have me on to say that. And I'm so proud of you. You've done so many wonderful creative endeavors since our time in P Town, which we will talk about on another podcast. But it is that those are really kind words, and I really hope we can bring this to everyone so they can see how wonderful the script is
All
and the
right.
story is.
Flaming Match. So the website will be links are in the show description, as well as the Instagram and link to Venmo. And Brent, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it.
My name is Ricky McEachran, and you have been listening to Eager to Know, the podcast. If you haven't already, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join me next week for another Eager to Know podcast.